Hi everyone, it's Tom Mackie here. We're going to be photographing summer color, and we've come to a really beautiful part of the country, the Peak District National Park in Derbyshire. So what we're looking for here is, as you can see around me, this gorgeous landscape of moorland covered in purple heather. So this is a beautiful part of the country to do this. Now there's some things we need to talk about: composition, lighting, and also filtration. Now when I came out here, we had some gorgeous clouds during the day, but unfortunately as the weather conditions cool off, the clouds dissipate, and as you can see, there's just nothing now in the sky. So we changed tack. Instead of photographing a really interesting sunset, we've gone for side lighting to get the last light on the rock formations. Now in the images that you'll see in a minute, you'll see the composition I've chose with a couple outcrops of rock. And I've used this dark shadow line leading in from the left-hand side, drawing your eye through the composition. And then you can see this mound like an outcrop of rock in the background. So I framed it so you've got these two rocks jutting out, and that makes a really nice, interesting foreground. Filtration-wise, polarization. So that's the nice thing about using side lighting. Our sun's at the right angle to the lens, so it's perfect for polarization. So that's going to bring the sky down. It's going to increase the saturation in the foreground, and then finally using a 3-stop ND grad just coming down over the sky. And because we don't have many clouds in the sky, you don't want to include a lot of sky. There's no point. So the main focus then is on the composition in the foreground. So in doing so, I do have a little strip of sky, but what happens is it overexposes. So I'm using a 3-stop hard grad just coming down over the sky. And what that does is it balances out the tones within the scene. So it brings up the tone of the foreground. So you're getting a lot more information in the foreground, and then it tones down the sky as well. Okay, as soon as the sun goes down up here, this is August. It's freezing up here. This is Britain, of course. But during the day, there's a lot of other different compositions that you can do. Instead of using a wide-angle lens and getting the sweeping landscape out in front of you, I've changed lenses using a telephoto lens, a 70-200, and I focused in on this outcrop of rock off in the distance with a stone barn just beyond that, which makes a nice nice composition. And I was lucky there was a couple sitting on the rock. It just adds a little human interest to it. And just coming in really tight on that, shooting, I think it was at about 200 focal length. There are some things that you need to consider when you're using a telephoto, especially in these conditions. We have a bit of gusty wind, so I've got a really sturdy tripod, but in the heather you've got to make sure that you've got your legs planted on firm ground and not on heather, because the heather tends to buffer. So whenever I do a shoot, I always do a lot of planning on beforehand. It's all about the planning. You can't just come out to a location and hope to get great shots. There is probably, I don't know, 75% planning beforehand. So you know pretty much the shot that you want to get before you even arrive. Obviously you can't guarantee that even with all the planning that you're going to come out with some great shots, because you're still at the hands of Mother Nature. So you have to roll with whatever Mother Nature throws at you. Sometimes you get some brilliant light, sometimes you get really dull light, but you have to work with the light that you have. So what I always do is I work under the lighting conditions that I have. If it ends up being overcast, I photograph waterfalls, forests, woodlands, things like that. So in summary, with all the planning that goes in before a shoot, you can never guarantee the end result. So the more you plan, the more likely you are to have a successful image at the end of it. Now when you come to an area like this, there's so many things you can do, and what I'm going to try to do tomorrow morning at sunrise is capture mist in the valleys. Hopefully this wind is going to dissipate and we're going to have a very calm morning. And because there's been a lot of rain showers lately, that's giving a lot of moisture to the landscape. And when tomorrow's forecast looks really good, it's going to be sunny. So when you have the heat of the sun hitting the valleys, it's going to bring all sorts of mist. I'm getting blown over here. It's so windy up here. But hopefully tomorrow morning is going to be really calm. We're going to have mist in the valleys. That's the intention. So this is a short video tonight just to point you in the right direction. There are a lot more tips and advice on our website, landscapephotographyiq.com. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's a lot of great videos there. Thanks for watching.